is in your nose. And the only way to do that is to sneeze through your nose.
I said God bless you. Was that so wrong?
The question is, did you allow a space for the husband to come in with his God bless you? Because as the husband, he has the right of first refusal.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios at the Avenue with Gabe Neitzel and Mark Chamorro. Here's Jen Latta.
Running her mouth, she wants to ride and she's trying to hide it. I'm cool as ever, she's too excited. Her man look like he wanna fight. He ain't doing nothing but running his mouth. Talk about it, we all about it. They making plans, we sit and count. Our chairs stacked just like a mountain. You heard about it, she running her mouth.
I'm starting to think I misplayed this. So my car is in the shop, which is hilarious because I literally just paid it off. Like, that's the thing that happens, right? The minute you pay off a vehicle, a boat,
your cell phone,
house, your phone, whatever it is, that's when it decides to take a big old dump. So my Tahoe is in the shop. Yesterday, I dropped it off as soon as I was done with the show. They said it's going to take 2 days to repair. It's got an electrical issue, so I got like a lot of lights flashing in different places. Backup cam. What are those lights that go off in your mirrors?
Side views?
Yeah, those side view mirror.
Like the sensor to tell you someone's there.
Correct, to tell you someone's in your blind spot. Yeah. So those are flashing constantly, even when there's no one there. So I was like, I'll just get it taken care of. So this morning, I said, I'll take an Uber to work because I don't want to take the car from Chase. Dario's got stuff he needs to do this morning. We have an air check after our show, and then I have a sales meeting at 11. So if I had my car, who cares? It sits in the structure until I'm done at noon-ish, whatever. But taking someone else's car, and then leaving them incapacitated, I didn't want to do that. So I was like, I'll just take an Uber, easy peasy. So I ordered the Uber last night, did the old reserve on the Uber. Supposed to pick me up at 6:15 this morning. At 6:06, I get a phone call. It's not Gabe Neitzel calling for a pre-show meeting. And the gentleman says, do you still need the ride? Yes, I do. Aren't you on your way here? We're about 9 minutes away from liftoff. He says, okay, I'm on my way. So 2 minutes later, I get a notification saying that the ride has been completed.
Huh?
I haven't even been scheduled picked up yet. So I immediately reach out to Uber to no avail. But the next priority was, you know what?
Trying to get here.
Getting another ride. So I thought about it. I was like, should I go wake up Chase? Should I ask my kid to drive me to work and then him take his car and then drive to school? No, I don't want to involve more people. Let's just get this thing figured out and we can handle Uber later. So I order another Uber. Great. Guy gets there 6:25. No problem. He's a great guy. But I'm contacting Uber the whole drive in like, hey, they charged me the $47, you guys. They charged me the $47 for the ride from Mequon to the 3rd Street Market that never occurred. So I'm like, hey. So I immediately, error or what do you call it?
Dispute?
Dispute. Boom. Thank you. Brain's not really firing.
What to say? She's just so flustered. Can't even come up with simple words.
So flustered.
Got your back.
Dispute. So I dispute it. And I say, can you please take a look at this ride? It never occurred. Driver never showed up. And the ride was completed, quote unquote, before I was even supposed to be picked up. 6:11, 6:15. They write back to me something along the lines of, I should just read it to you guys, but I don't have it in front of me. Oh, yes, I do. We're sorry to hear about the difficulty with the price of this trip. We can confirm you were charged $47, which matches the estimated price range shown to you before you requested the trip. As a result, no changes will be made. Thank you for understanding. Chewy, what should I do here?
Sue him.
Okay.
Number one,
sue Uber.
It is poor negotiating on your behalf. I'm sorry. Just poor. Do you pay for Chase's car?
Paid, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I was about to say, there's a lesson to be learned here, and it has nothing to do with
scholarship.
Uber.
All right, kids are on scholarship, and the thing you want to do is get them off a scholarship as soon as you can, and that'll sometimes run till they're 30. Mm-hmm. You pay for the car, Chase. I don't want to have to pull rank, but you can either let me use your car for the day, or you can wake up, drive me to work, and then go back home and have your car. I'm sorry. That's Gabe.
Yeah.
Price of doing biz.
Chewy, I've got your back on this one. This is 100% the lesson to be learned here. Yeah, you could have inconvenienced your kid, but, I mean, isn't that what he's there for?
To be inconvenienced?
This is winter workouts. You know what? You sign a contract with BC to play football there. Winter workouts are at 5 a.m. You show up. This is winter workouts.
So it would have been like a tradesies. So for all of the things that I have done for my son, the least he could do for me was to wake up. And again, I didn't even ask. So it's not like he refused. It'd be a whole nother issue. I didn't even ask. I didn't say, hey, can you wake up a little early this morning? Or I guess he could have taken the bus again. But that's a whole
Send him on the bus.
thing. That's a whole
Send him
nother
on the
thing.
bus.
Get back on the bus after you just got your license within the last couple of weeks.
That's tough. This is what families do. Families got to have each other's backs. And guess what? If he wants that car to continue to be paid for, mom's got to get to work.
So I misplayed it then. Sounds like general consensus is I misplayed the situation this morning.
Yeah. Now you got this headache with Uber.
I know. Maybe I could have Chase handle the Uber thing. Maybe that's the trade-off.
Does your gut tell you?
You think he's going to care?
Does your gut tell you that the Uber guy is a crook and he tried slipping one past you here?
So, great question. Love that because I was wrestling with that this morning. I don't think this guy left his house. I can see the map of where he was and where the ride allegedly started and where it ended. And it's about 50 feet. I think he got up and was like, I don't want to do this. And he walked to the other end of his home and he hit close ride or ride completed. So that was the one thing. And by the way, again, it says that it was completed at 6:11. This ride was done at 6:11 a.m.
When was it scheduled for?
My scheduled pickup was 6:15.
It's impressive.
Right.
I mean, if he was actually that fast, even you would be impressed with that speed.
Probably a huge tip for like, wow. I mean, I go quick. I go fast. You went way faster than I did.
Maybe it was a DeLorean.
Yeah, exactly. So just so you know, I am disputing it with Uber currently. But since that initial message from Uber, they've gone radio silent. I wrote back, hello, I was never picked up. The driver never picked me up. This ride never happened. And according to my receipt, the driver never left Santa Monica Boulevard in Glendale. That's where it says he was. And then I sent the receipts, and I sent the ride, and I sent all of the information. As you can see from the timestamp, this receipt was issued before the ride was even supposed to start. And then I sent a screen grab of the gentleman who called me this morning. The driver also called me at 6:06 a.m. to confirm the ride and the pickup location, and then never showed up. I had to request another ride to get to work this a.m. Please check the record of this trip. Nothing.
Did they somehow just think you were disputing the cost of the ride?
Maybe.
Because the way that everything is worded in their initial response made it seem like they were thinking that hey, this is way more than what it should have been. And obviously it wasn't for what the ride should have been. The ride never existed. But they think that, you're just disputing the charge, not the fact that the ride never happened.
Right. I mean, I'm disputing both, actually.
I think there seems to be confusion because when you have issues with like Uber Eats or anything like that, there's different things that they like make you press and jump through hoops to get you into the right complaint form. And it seems like for whatever reason you ended up in the, hey, this was too much, which is not what you're arguing. You're arguing this never even happened in the first place, which I think is a whole different, because I've had issues where I ordered something on Uber Eats and the person will drive to my house but click delivered and keep driving. and then they're like, well, what's the issue? And I said, well, I never got anything. I don't have any food here.
Yeah.
And now I'm stuck out the money that I paid for it.
It does feel like it's tough. I mean, the gentleman this morning, Chew, in the car was telling me that he has heard that Uber wants to go to an hourly rate for some cities, places that have heavy traffic, places where drivers have a tough time getting to and from requested rides, or places where, and so they would be paid for their time sitting in traffic. And he even said, how is Uber going to guard against somebody just turning their meter on and then just driving around, running their own errands, doing their own thing, and then just declining rides under the guise that they are on a ride or something like that. So I found that interesting as well. Hey, listen, you might be right. Maybe I got to find a different spot to complain about this specific complaint, but this is where they directed me. So that's the thing. As soon as I said problem with the ride, and then you go through a few things, and it's like, is it this? Is it this? Is it this? No, it's something else. Something else. Okay. Is it this? Is it this? Is it this? No, it's something else. You would think there would be a prompt for driver never showed up.
I think you just need to talk to a human.
Well, good luck. Come on, Gabe. That's a silly question.
Well, it seems like if they've ghosted her at this point, the machine's not talking to her, Josh.
What you're going to have to do is go through the machine until you create enough of a stink that actual person does. Because a lot of those chats will start with an automated sort of AI-like responses that are all like handcrafted to say certain things. And then you go up the chain of command enough to where it's like, hey, person, I need this fixed. I mean, you do have the option of disputing it with your credit card company, but I don't think you need to go that far yet. But if you continue to have issues, that's the next step.
I got folks weighing in on the Carbless Talk and Text line this morning, and we got some good stuff already. Jen, you are talking to a chatbot. Ask them to put you in contact with a human customer service representative. Certainly would like to do that, Chris. I will probably be tackling this during every break of Jen, Gabe, and Chewy this morning, so I can keep you along for the ride if you'd like. Chef Ed says, Jen, the guys are right. Your son has to learn that sometimes life sucks. As for Uber, they are 10% in the wrong, and you will eventually, although they are 100%. It wrapped around. The 1 and the 0 were on one line, and the other 0 was on the other. They are 100% in the wrong. You will get reimbursed. And then someone said, Dave from Aaron said, Jen, who is king of the castle? Sounds like Chase.
Does sound like it.
No, what you need.
Don't want to disturb the king of the castle. Don't want to ask him for the favor.
You know what you need? We have a guy down here who's retired, who's up at 4 a.m, and we can call him whenever we want, and he'll come pick us up. Works for himself. There's got to be those kind of guys where you can just bypass Uber, because I hear in our experiences, pre-ordering an Uber works probably about 50% of the time.
You know, want to know something? I think I am on about that rate, Chew. I think about 50% of the time when I order an Uber ahead of time, it works. And I'm wondering if this gentleman found a loophole where you sign up for a scheduled ride and then you just blow it off, but you still get the money, and Uber doesn't pluck it out of their paycheck, doesn't pluck it out of their bank account. It just sort of eats it. I wonder if there's a loophole here that people have found and are taking advantage of.
Chewy, how did you find this guy? Is it just like a word of mouth, like a friend of a friend of a friend has a business card? How did you find the guy that just gives you a ride everywhere in Florida now?
The bar.
As I say, you've never had this experience where you're somewhere or you end up meeting somebody who, because Uber takes a cut, you have a nice conversation with them and they go, well, you could just call me directly and we'll negotiate prices.
I've seen that with like when you go on a trip or whatever, and you've got like the Uber guy who picks you up from the airport and is like, hey, if you want, cut out the Uber. But it seems like this guy's cut out Uber completely. Doesn't even
just a new neighbor guy.
Yeah, but I mean, at least you had an introduction because you ordered the Uber in the first place. I want to know how Chewy got this intro in the first place.
Yeah, he's got a great. Well, our other guy died, and he used to work for him, so he took over his business. So, and he's cheaper than Uber, very reliable. I mean, I feel bad because he'll come pick us up at 4 a.m. for a 6 o'clock flight.
Yeah, but that's his business, right?
No, I know, and he's got a great book of business, and we refer people to him. But his business is so full, sometimes he can't take them, so he puts them on a list. It's just a great way, and he's reliable as ever. It's a good way to do it.
ESPN Milwaukee's Shane weighing in on the private talk and text chain saying, Jen, you should have called your friends at Accutrans. 1,000,000% correct. Should have called my friends at Accutrans to take me to work this morning. Now, that's not even in my mindset, really. Like, when I think of Accutrans, I think of, like, O'Hare to home, Lambeau to home. You know, I'm not thinking like, can you zip me over to the 3rd Street Market in the morning while my car is in the shop? I appreciate that. As a suggestion, I will definitely lock that up going forward. Let's put it on the Jen, Gabe, and Chewy Twitter poll this morning. Will I get my $47 back, or do I just have to eat it as a part of the lesson? Gabe says the lesson is inconvenience your kid. What are we doing? You know, it's great to be cool, Mom, but now you had an Uber incident because you didn't want to ask your child if you could take your car back for the day, which, by the way, is just going to sit in the parking lot at the high school all
That's the thing.
day.
Like, you don't have to, and you're now approaching this wrong. You don't have to ask. It's your car. It's not his car. That car belongs to you. His name on the title?
Nope.
I didn't think so. That's your car.
Well, you give them the choice, like I said.
Yeah.
You can either.
It's a great
negotiation. You can either do this. Yeah.
Either I get your car, which is my car, or you can just drive me to work in the morning.
Yeah, I chickened out. Definitely chickened out. I was like, he thinks I'm cool right now. I don't want to, mess with that, you know? So anyway, 800-990-3776. That is the Carbless Talkin' text line. We got a lot of stuff to get to this morning. Jason Wilde is going to join the show in just a moment. We'll talk about the Packers and how close they are to the Eagles, how close they are to being a Super Bowl team. Man, there was a lot of conversation yesterday about Cooper DeJean and the Packers draft and how Goody has done. That was a mess on social yesterday, and I don't know that we'll want to dip our toes in that water. Plus, Devontae and Aaron Rodgers. New information about Devontae Adams' future. We'll dive into that as Jen, Gabe, and Chewy rolls on.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy continues next on 94.5 ESPN.
We do have an accident now westbound on 94, right about at 20th Street. The right lane is blocked with this crash. There's a car up on the grass, and the other has the tail end all completely crunched up, and it is definitely blocking that right lane. So be careful coming out of the Marquette. On the eastbound side, we've got a couple pockets of heavy traffic between 76th Street and 35th. The rest of the system looking pretty good. Traffic is brought to you by Racine Danish Kringles, now offering a heart-shaped Kringle with pink icing in raspberry, chocolate silk, cherry, and pecan flavors. Order at Kringle.com or call 1-800-4DANISH. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Today, morning flurries, mostly cloudy, then some afternoon sun, a high of 22. Tonight, increasing clouds, a low of 17. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazagon, 94.5 ESPN.
Hey guys, Josh DiMaggio here. Don't be like me and wait till the last minute. Valentine's Day is almost here. Impress that special someone with a handcrafted bouquet from Flowers for Dreams. Order a bouquet online at flowersfordreams.com or visit their Walker's Point location. Use code ESPN at checkout for 15% off your bouquet, or this year, try something new with tickets to their date night open studio workshop on Friday, February 14th. Every Valentine's bouquet benefits an amazing local Milwaukee charity. That's flowersfordreams.com, code ESPN.
James Imaging Systems. Local support, local accountability, local business technology representatives. Listen to Matheson Manufacturing President Al Leidinger.
She still checks in to see how things are going and if we need anything. So I really do appreciate that from a customer service standpoint.
Michael Quizan, IT Systems Administrator at Great Midwest Bank, discovered the benefits of working with the local team at James.
Our costs from supplies perspective went down. I mean, we're talking about thousands in a year. So we saved a lot of money by bringing James Imaging on.
James Imaging Systems client Luther Gray, Director of Ticket Operations and Group Sales with the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra, on dealing with James.
They are making sure you get the full value and life of every product that you have with them.
Local support, local accountability, local people. Get it all with James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner. Call 262-781-7700 or visit jamesimaging.com.
There are some things you wouldn't mind being stuck with, like a large unexpected inheritance. An always on the verge of death phone that has to be plugged in just right so it charges is not one of those things. Switch to Verizon and we'll pay off your old phone. Up to $800 via prepaid MasterCard so you can get a new one. Just trade in any phone from our top brands on any unlimited plan. With new line on My Plan. Additional terms apply for trade-in and pay off your phone offer. See Verizon.com for details.
Get your yard game ready with Ego, the #1 rated brand in cordless outdoor power. Ego has nearly 200,000 5-star reviews from homeowners like you. Ego delivers the power of gas, but without the noise, fuss, or fumes. Best of all, Ego 56-volt arc lithium batteries are universal, so they fit all 90 tools. Power your yard, power your tailgate, power your life. Learn more at egopowerplus.com.
Ready, down, put.
All Packers, all the time.
He was a field tilting player, and the reason why Gabe and many others are so concerned is that this guy's on the field, he changes the offensive dynamic. They are a different offense when he is there.
Okay, most of the time.
You know, Homer calls Matt LaFleur soft all the time. Matt LaFleur is like Vince Lombardi compared to me.
It's Jason Wilde on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Plenty of reaction rolling in this morning about my decision to take an Uber to work this morning as opposed to, the other car that I own that my son took to school this morning. And I'm reading it all, folks. I am reading it all. I do appreciate the folks who have offered to drive me. My friend Shem, who lives down the street, has offered to drive me if this ever happens again. I also have another gentleman on the ESPN Milwaukee talking text line who has offered to drive me. Jason, thank you for the offer. Jason Wilde would drive me as well, I guarantee, if I asked him. Jason, you're just that kind of guy, right?
Yeah, you're welcome for the offer. I used my pseudonym to text in.
Yeah.
So I am new to the Uber game. I had not used it since 2017 after the 2016 NFC Championship game in Atlanta. So I used it a couple times in Minneapolis, so Paula and the girls would have the car, and I didn't have to find parking before Packers-Vikings. But Sydney had a volleyball tournament in Mequon at the facility, Travis Diener's place, and Maddie was competing in a gymnastics meet on the opposite side of Milwaukee and Franklin. And so they took the car, and Sydney and I had to get an Uber to go from Mequon to Franklin. And it was a great, great experience. I could not have been happier as opposed to you this morning. But it is a fascinating – for someone who doesn't use it very often, it is still, when you pause to think about it, random people using their vehicles in a taxi manner, I still can't believe how successful it is because it is a weird world, and I'm still adjusting to it. But it certainly saved us because we got there in time to see Maddie's last two events, and I got to hang out with Travis Diener while I waited for my ride, so it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, it sounds like a win-win, Jason.
As opposed to yours.
I will continue to update everybody on if I hear back from the old customer service at Uber. Don't hold your breath. News yesterday, Adam Schefter talking about how Rodgers, of course, will not be in New York, but Adam thinks that wherever Rodgers lands, he thinks Davante Adams will go with him. Do you subscribe to that belief as well?
Yeah, especially if Rodgers is coming back to Green Bay to back up Jordan Love. Look, Adam is far more plugged in than me, so I would not dispute whatever theory he has. That said, it sure looks to me, unless this is all some sort of big ruse to entertain himself, which I just don't think it is, and I've exchanged messages with him a few times about this. I think Davante Adams wants to come home. I think he thinks Jordan Love has turned out to be better than he looked like he was going to be when he left. And he's looking for a place where he can land that it will be a good fit. I don't think he's married to the idea of going wherever Aaron Rodgers goes. I think he has to do what's best for Davante and for burnishing his Pro Football Hall of Fame resume. And if that happens to be wherever Rodgers lands, great. And if it's not, I think that's okay too. I can't say for certain what exactly that relationship is. I don't think it's like Jordy to Electric Boogaloo. I don't think it's the same type of on-field and off-the-field relationship. There were some rumblings when Davante got traded that he wanted to kind of show that he could do it without Rodgers. So, obviously, he was in a bad situation in Vegas. Both he and Rodgers and Woody Johnson thought that it would be, magic if they were reunited like Peaches and Herb. It did not turn out that way. So I'm not saying that they won't end up in the same place, but I personally don't believe it's as clear-cut as that idea might be.
Jason, what are some big dates coming up that we need to look for?
Well, my birthday's Saturday, so you need to look for that. Valentine's Day is Friday, so make sure. Lord knows I know how much trouble you can get into with your wife getting on the wrong side of her, so make sure you're aware of that.
Thank you.
Free agency opens a month from yesterday, so March 10th. So that's your first big date. The scouting combine is at the end of the month. That's obviously a big date. Although, for me, from a reporter's standpoint, it used to be the kickoff to the new season, right? I mean, that was really where everyone was, and it was like a carnival, basically, right? All the agents, all the coaches, all the assistant coaches, all the GMs, they were all there, and all the media, frankly. And I think I went to that 21 years in a row. And now, not only do I not go, but Matt LaFleur doesn't go, and his coaching staff doesn't go, and a bunch of other head coaches and their coaching staffs don't go, which I still don't understand. Like this, whatever they are now, $11 billion business or whatever the NFL is, I still can't believe that coaches don't go to the combine because you never know what information you're going to glean by being there. But it's that. Then it's the opening of free agency. Then the NFL meetings are in mid to late March. And then obviously the offseason program begins April 15th-ish. And then we're back to rolling into the 2025 season.
Jason, after seeing how everything played out with the Super Bowl, the Eagles' run to get that championship, the way they dominated both Washington and Kansas City, how close do you think the Packers actually are to a Super Bowl?
Are you doing the transitive property thing?
I am not.
What you're doing?
No, because Jason, okay. I am not there. Like I look at to me, it's all matchup dependent for me. Like, yes, the Packers played the Eagles close, but also Jalen Hurts hadn't played in 3 weeks, was rusty, and then got better as the playoffs went along. Right, as he played more, he got better as everything went. But to me, my biggest takeaway from this is the Packers could easily be the Washington Commanders in that if they would have been the 6th seed and then played Philadelphia in the NFC Championship game, everybody would be in love with the Packers. Instead, they stumble down the stretch, get the 7th seed, and everybody's kind of wringing their hands about what this team is and isn't.
Yeah, that's outstanding. I mean, I feel a little bit like Mike Holmgren when. Remember Dave Benz, Chewy? He was at Fox 11. He was kind of a wacky local TV guy, and I'll never forget. First of all, he asked before the Super Bowl, the week before you guys left, Coach, you got to wear your greens? And then my other favorite was, and look, who am I to judge long-winded questions, obviously, right? But he asked one that even I would have thought, oh, my gosh, this is really long. And when he got to the end of it, Mike Holmgren said, Dave, you just asked me 3 questions and answered 2 of them yourself. What do you want me to say? Gabe, you just delivered brilliant analysis. What do you want me to say? I mean, you're right about everything you said there, and I do think that perception does matter. And what you hit on there, I still think the Packers, especially with how well their defense played, and looking at what the Eagles did in the Super Bowl as a template. And I don't think this is prisoner of the moment of, the Eagles won the Super Bowl, we should all replicate what the Eagles did. But I do think that the Eagles provide a pretty good template that the Packers are capable of following to make the next jump to where they want to be, which would be getting into an NFC Championship game and having a chance to play in the Super Bowl. But when I look at the Packers, I thought that there were some lessons that they could take from that game, and I gave that list to Tausch yesterday, and he was. I think
he wasn't a big fan. I mean, he liked some of it, but he really went after you about the hitting low budget free agents.
Yeah, which irritated me because he's like a huge Goody stan, and I had evidence that Goody has done that before, right? I mean, plucking Rasul Douglas off the Cardinals practice squad, and for whatever Devondre Campbell became, the year that they signed him in June for him to become a first-team All-Pro, that was Zach Baun-esque, right?
Yeah.
And so you don't always have to sign Xavier McKinney and Josh Jacobs. Although, again, the Eagles signed Saquon Barkley, so obviously they did that too. But if you hit on one of those inexpensive guys who really helps you, that's part of it. But to me, the biggest thing that we saw, and we've talked about this with those two Giants teams that won Super Bowls, and now we're talking about it with what the Eagles were able to do. Jeff Hafley could not win sending his front four rushers. They were not good enough. They were not skilled enough in the new system, whatever you want to call it. They did not get home with four very often. And the Eagles spent the entire Super Bowl afternoon in the Chiefs' backfield harassing Patrick, as he was called by the analysts for the game, repeatedly. And if the Packers can figure out that piece of it, I just feel like it opens up a world of possibilities for them defensively that I thought Jeff Hafley did a fantastic job given the fact that his front four wasn't very good. And they still were a top 10 defense. So
but
I think it's that. Go ahead, Chew.
But, Jason, a little more context here. I mean, everyone talks about how much cap space the Packers have. There's relevant teams in front of them that have more cap space. Washington, Chicago, Minnesota, Detroit, San Francisco. So, I mean, these teams are going to be looking for a Max Crosby and a Myles Garrett. And, it's not like, oh, we got the pick of the litter here. Goody's got to hit this thing right in order for them to get better.
Right. And Chewy, what I would argue is that you don't necessarily have to get better by trading for Max Crosby or Myles Garrett or Trey Hendrickson. You paid Rashawn Gary like he's one of those players.
Yeah.
He damn well needs to play like that.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you need to do to get him there? Did he? I think it's concerning that he had a worse year, an extra year removed from his ACL tear than he had in the season immediately following his ACL tear, right? I mean, I don't know what to make of that because usually it's the opposite. Is Kenny Clark, who spent his entire life in a 3-4 until last year, is something going to click for him? Is LVN going to play like the 13th overall pick? Those are all big ifs. And if you augment that with somebody who can come in and play well right away, great. But again, I think Josh Sweat is a free agent from the Eagles. I'm not saying to go pay him bonko dollars so you have a guy that was part of that wrecking crew up front for the Eagles in the Super Bowl. I'm just saying, however you do it, right? If Brenton Cox Jr. comes out of nowhere, because we did see flashes from him, and he's like the new Kabir, without the crazy religious stuff, maybe then you're able to get this done. My point is simply that there's a roadmap to being yourself still, but also being more adept in some areas where you were deficient. The other one that I brought up to Tausch, and I think it was the only one that he actually acknowledged was a good one, was they got to get more out of Love with his legs. 83 total rushing yards, even with the injuries he had. He was not a threat to opposing defenses. And I remember going all the way back to like Ed Donatel and the Packers getting so frustrated by Dante Culpepper on 3rd and 11, and you got Randy Moss covered, and then he takes off and runs for 14 yards. And that is devastating to defenses. How many times did Jordan Love do that? Not very many. So I think these are all attainable goals for the 25 team that will make them a better team.
Jason, good stuff. We appreciate you. Have a good one, and we'll talk to you again soon.
All right, my Uber's here. I got to go. Take care. Be good.
He's Jason Wilde. Listen to him on Wilde and Tausch right after Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Okay, he brings something up that I think is interesting. Do the deficiencies on the defensive line have more to do with the players underperforming or Goody missing at those spots? I want to dive into that right after this on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Stick around.
Guys, I'm telling you, if you're making plans to propose to that special someone in your life, the Jewelry Center is the only place to go for the ring. They're the best place to shop for diamond engagement rings in Milwaukee for a reason. It's what I did. Didn't know that what my now wife exactly wanted, but I had some ideas. If you have no idea, maybe go to our Pinterest board. Bring those in. Because to me, what separates the Jewelry Center from everybody else, the helpful team that they have assembled, whether you go to Brookfield, Greenfield, or in Burlington. And then they're going to point you in the right direction. Whether you're looking for lab-grown diamonds, naturally mined diamonds, whatever you're in the market for when it comes to an engagement ring, the Jewelry Center has it. Check out the inventory. ShopTJC.com. Stop in at any one of their 3 locations. And when you head to the Jewelry Center, tell them that Gabe and Chew sent you.
More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
Well, we got a crash on westbound 94 right about at 20th Street. Looks like the right lane is blocked with this, so it's all kind of a mess through that area. I'm basically backing up through the Marquette in all directions, so do be prepared for that. Eastbound 94's got some backups from Highway F to Springdale Road. Again, from the zoo all the way to 25th Street with folks slowing down to take a look at what's going on. Southbound 43, obviously going to be slowing down into the Marquette because of this thing. Also, a little bit of a backup right past Locust. And 41 southbound, slowing down just south of Silver Spring down past Capitol Drive. And check the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Today, morning flurries, mostly cloudy, some afternoon sunshine with a high of 22. Tonight, increasing clouds with a low of 17. Weather's brought to you by Tsunami Express. Has 6 locations around Milwaukee to keep your car clean. Rain, snow, or shine. With state-of-the-art washes, powerful vacuums, and T2 with graphene, get the ultimate shine and protection. Tsunami Express. Wash, chill, repeat. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
And you might be losing without even knowing it. With testosterone levels plummeting 25% in just 2 decades, you're likely operating at a fraction of your potential. Your kids sense it when you're too exhausted for playtime. Your wife notices when that spark fades. Here's the harsh truth. Without addressing low T, nothing works. Diets fail, workouts fall flat, but there's hope. Mentality's FDA-approved treatment restores testosterone by an average of 30%. Don't let low T rob you of life's precious moments. Start at mentalityhealth.com/radio.
So many of our youth carry unimaginable burdens. Anger, depression, even thoughts of suicide. At Rawhide Youth Services, we recognize their pain. We help them find hope and healing. For those that need a second chance at life, we refuse to give up on them. Please be a part of our life-saving work. When you donate your used vehicle to Rawhide, you're helping change the lives of countless youth in our communities. Go to rawhide.org/donate and help them realize a brighter future today.
It's the perfect Valentine's heart.
The kind a schoolboy would draw. It's the most adorable pendant we've ever created.
Innocent, fun-loving, and sweeter than honey.
Cute, cute, cute.
It's cherry red ceramic that's been through the fire.
We've been making ceramic jewelry for thousands of years.
Seriously?
Google it.
But this ceramic heart has things they didn't know about thousands of years ago.
Like what?
Diamonds. 18 of them.
These created diamonds were made for the one who sparkles like the sun.
I can see her in my mind right now.
It's the perfect Valentine's gift.
And it's only $128 at Kessler's.
Monica, what else do we have?
We have 4 different ways to say I love you.
Each pendant is a different shape covered in diamonds.
Life is like a box of chocolates.
An oval.
A square with rounded corners.
A teardrop.
And a heart.
Your choice, just $148 at Kessler's. For the location of the Kessler's nearest you, visit Kessler'sDiamonds.com.
The wait is over. Brewers baseball is back. Time to pick your Brewers games and get back to the ballpark for tailgate traditions and walk-off wins. Be here for opening day. Come back for the big games and the best giveaways. Where else would you want to be? Brewers tickets for the 2025 season are on sale Friday. That's opening day and every game, all summer long. Get on board for the show today. Tickets on sale Friday at Brewers.com.
Hey, this is Brad Nortman, here to tell you about my friends at Bank 5-9. Everywhere I go throughout the area, I see Bank 5-9, and it's no wonder why. Not only do they have 14 branch locations, but their employees spend nearly 9,000 hours each year volunteering in the communities that they serve. That's on top of the financial support that they provide to several hundred nonprofits right here in southeastern Wisconsin. If you're looking for a true local community bank, check them out today at bank59.com. Member FDIC.
You're listening to Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Any of those things because it exceeds. It's like I'm sorry, I'm burping up my apple right there. That's what that was. I wasn't pausing for effect. I literally was burping.
All right, can we just go to break?
No. On 94.5 ESPN.
If you missed any of our conversation with Jason Wilde, you can find it on Wisconsin On Demand or wherever you get your podcasts on the Jen, Gabe, and Chewy podcast. So we were talking about the defensive line because that really was the difference between winning and losing that game. I mean, obviously, the Eagles played well, but they played the best on the defensive line, getting pressure on Patrick Mahomes, making him uncomfortable every single snap, it seemed. So we're trying to figure out how close the Packers' defensive line is to being able to get pressure with 4, being able to be a game wrecker, a game changer. And Chew, when you look at the pieces that Jeff Hafley has, that Brian Gutekunst has amassed, is it more about the players not playing up to their potential, or is it more about Goody actually missing on some of those guys?
A little column A, column B. I mean, Gabe, Rashawn Gary's never had double-digit sacks, right?
Correct.
So is that a miss? Is that 2 misses? Is that a miss drafting him and then a miss re-signing him? Because it certainly feels that way.
Yeah, because you knew he was a project when you signed him, right? And then he starts building up. He gets towards the end. Okay, we think he's about to explode. We're going to pay for that. Has the injury, and now the last 2 years hasn't lived up at all to that contract. Yeah, it's 2 swings and a miss. Yeah.
Is he going into his 7th year or 6th year?
Rashawn?
Yeah. Because you know what a player is most times by their 4th year. You know what he is.
He is going to his 7th.
So going into your 7th year, you don't all of a sudden be great. You become great. Actually, you're kind of coming back down. You're making the turn. Yeah. So, I mean, he's not going to get better. And then Lucas Van Ness just seems to be a miss right now. Swing and a miss. Swing and a miss. I mean, when you're getting blocked by a tight end and you're a D lineman, that ain't good.
Yeah,
and then Kenny Clark could be a miss from the standpoint he's not the player he once was. He's getting old. That's a lot of pounding through all the years he's played, and you just slow down.
Well, and some of these other guys, and again, we've talked about this, how you fill out certain positions, certain units. Some of these guys were never expected to be superstars. Mm-hmm. I don't think you have a Kingsley Ngabare and you're like, oh, he's going to be, the next Reggie White. Like, no, you have moderate expectations, but I don't even know if those guys like him and a Brenton Cox, I'm not even sure that they played up to the expectations that you have if you want that defensive line to be a game-changing unit, if you believe that they are going to be the path to having success like the Eagles did. So across the board then, did everyone just underperform? Like that to me then feels like it might be a cultural thing. Go ahead, Joshy.
That's what PFF would tell you. Basically across the board, everybody on the defense that is like a retained player got worse. The Packers defense looked better largely in part because Edrin Cooper was never there and made an immediate impact. Quay Walker did improve a little bit, and then obviously Xavier McKinney. But if you look at all the guys that have played for the Packers, they were either the same or worse in many positions. And like Kenny Clark was worse, Rashawn Gary was worse, Jair Alexander barely played. Like that, it is impressive that they seem to look better on defense despite not seeing really growth or even what expectations being met for many of those guys.
Yeah, I think
you know what?
It's a lack of talent.
I'm sick of the excuses. Oh, jeez, I'm crow. Kenny Clark's whole career, well, he's getting double teamed. That's why he's not an all-pro. All right, great. Rashawn Gary, well, he tore his ACL the year before, so Like Jason said, he had a worse year this year than that year. Hold players accountable. That's all we're asking.
Aren't we doing
you're
that?
right.
Isn't that what we're doing right now?
No, I'm saying we are. But the fans just like, well, he's a nice guy. No, who cares? Bring me an a-hole. As long as he can play football and disrupt the quarterback and get there, just stop making excuses. You with me or no?
Well, we have Brizzle weighing in on the YouTube stream, and Brizzle says that's why the D-line coach is no longer there, because the unit underperformed pretty much across the board.
But
is
it's
that
his
enough?
fault.
Well, that's what I was just going to ask you, Chase.
Yeah.
Chase.
No, I'm not driving you to work.
And Chewy, he's not giving you his car either.
Chew and Chase with the C and the H and the always having to keep you in line. Like, there's a lot of similarities here, all right?
You got a point.
All right.
Is it enough to fire the defensive line coach and expect the players that you have in there to somehow miraculously get better, miraculously improve from this year to next year? Or is it going to require going out and getting a bona fide game changer like a Max Crosby, like a Myles Garrett? Some of these players, people keep bringing up Hendrickson as well. Is it going to require bringing somebody like that in to infuse that unit with, hey, you aren't good enough. You haven't been good enough. You haven't shown us that you can be good enough. So we are bringing this player in here to basically supplement where you guys have been deficient.
Yes, that's what they need. And maybe it makes them better. I don't think it does. It could help. I mean, Rashawn Gary is, like I said, he is what he is. All right, let me ask you this. If he goes into next year and has another 6.5 sacks, 7 sacks, you got to get rid of him.
Yeah, and next year,
you
too,
got to
I
get
think
rid of him.
That's when they can kind of get out of the contract, is after this upcoming season.
Don't
And if he does not reach double-digit sacks, I am guessing the Packers go to him and say, hey, if you want to play here, you got to take a pay cut. It's up to him. If he says no, then he's gone.
Now, I like these linebackers they had last year, that I'm saying the new crop.
Yes.
But you know who we liked in his first year? Quay Walker. We loved him. I thought he'd be Defensive Player of the Year at some point in time.
Really?
He did. You want to talk about misses? That's a swing and a miss.
Huh.
On you.
What's Mr. Hunt doing over there? You saying I don't admit my mistakes?
After he was shoving training personnel, you were like, this is the guy?
I cooled on him. I put a few ice cubes in my drink. But Gabe said it, and I'll give you full credit. You need superstars in order to win.
Okay, so when you say you need superstars in order to win, to me, that is, if I had to go on one side of the fence or the other, that is Goody.
Yes.
That is Goody missing on quote-unquote superstars. Overthinking it, thinking you got diamonds in the rough that are just going to need a little bit of nurturing or just going to need a little bit of the right environment, but then they will blossom. But we haven't seen that yet. I do like this statement from Don in the 262. He says, the Packers have players you build around with. They don't have any of the players you build around.
Mm-hmm.
It's a subtle nuance, but I think it absolutely accurately articulates the issue in that unit specifically.
Well, Goody, I think, has done, whether you look around, and there are a couple of players, certainly, like Edgerrin Cooper, I think we all think, has that potential to be a star. But he's done a really good job of drafting B players. Like good players, like players you need to have on your roster, but they just don't take that next step to that A player.
Because they had an A player, and let me ask you guys this, okay? They had an A player in Jair. Who do you blame? Do you blame Goody for re-signing him? Do you blame LaFleur for not managing him? Or do you blame Jair?
So I think that Jair's issues were Joe Barry related. And so, by extension, wouldn't you blame LaFleur for holding on to Joe Barry maybe a year too long? Because don't we think that was sort of the issue with Jair and the defensive coordinator? Didn't get along, didn't like the way he was being used in the scheme. And he, I think this, I don't think I'm creating this in my brain, had conversations about those frustrations and felt like they were falling on deaf ears.
But I played with Sterling was unmanageable. He was unmanageable. He was doing it his way. If he didn't want to practice, he didn't care what the training staff said. He wasn't practicing.
Mm-hmm.
He was doing it his way. And there's a clip. I don't know if you guys ever saw this on NFL Network. and it's kind of funny, where Holmgren brought Gruden over because Gruden was the receivers coach at the time, and Holmgren pulled him over in the middle of the game and said to Gruden, I want you to go over there and rip his ass right now in front of him. So Gruden walks over to the bench with his back to Holmgren, and he goes, I have to yell at you. Mike told me that I have to yell at you right now, so just take it. And he pseudo-yelled at him. That's unmanageable. Jair is unmanageable.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
So I don't know whose fault that is.
I lean towards that just being lack of professionalism. Right? Like there are expectations. You're not going to be happy with every coach. You're not going to be happy with every situation. The guy made himself a captain, almost did it wrong and cost the Packers a possession, and then won't play unless he feels he's nearly 100%. Like, to a certain extent, as Chewy said, we have to hold these guys accountable despite their situation. Kenny Clark showed up and played. I'm sure he wasn't fond of what Joe Barry was doing. There's plenty of guys on that defense that probably thought we could be doing this a lot better, but they still went out there. And Jair cost himself money. He's now going to be viewed less than what he should be because he won't play, and he's seen as a malcontent from a lot of people.
So hindsight being 2020, we should have kept Rasul and shipped Jair off.
Oh, for sure. Well, I agree with the keeping of Rasul, but
yeah, I mean, I would say keeping Rasul, but Chewy, you were just talking about how you want an a-hole. You don't care as long as they make plays. That's what they did with Jair. They rolled the dice, and I think they were willing to deal with the a-hole part.
Yeah,
but he just wasn't ever healthy enough. Like he wasn't willing to go out there when he's less than 100%.
Was he?
Well, he didn't play. At the end of the day,
I don't want to play. I don't want to. I do not want to play with guys that have to play at 100%. Call me old school. Call me whatever. I don't want to play with them. I don't want them on my roster. And Goody should know that.
I don't think the Packers want that either. I don't think they've really made any bones about the unhappiness with that approach.
Yeah.
And honestly, when he signed that contract, I don't think there was an indication that that's who he was.
No.
That kind of came up the last couple of years after he got paid.
Right, and that's why I keep going back to, and Joshy, I agree with you 100%. You got to be professional. There are going to be coaches you don't like. There are going to be teammates you don't like. There are going to be colleagues you don't like. You still have a responsibility to go out there and do your job, because at the end of the day, that's what you're going to be judged on.
Right.
And so if people are judging Jair on some of those behaviors that seem to have stemmed from him feeling like he wasn't being heard, that's on him still. You got to still handle it in a professional manner. I do want to put it on the poll. The defensive deficiencies, specifically the defensive line, who do you blame more? Goody for missing on the picks or the guys for underperforming? Let us know on the Jen, Gabe, and Chewy Twitter account, or let us know on the Carbless Talk and Text line, 800-990-3776. Hey, all you sports bettors, if you aren't making your wagers at Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee, let me tell you, you are missing out on an elite experience. It's a complete sports betting paradise. The state-of-the-art venue has a dozen self-service betting kiosks, seating for more than 200 people, a first-class bar and restaurant, a VIP deck, and, of course, the broadcast booth where we do Weekly Wager each and every Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. And the star of the show, the giant video wall, more than 2,000 square feet big. If you're short on time, they have free 20-minute parking as well. They have really figured it all out. What a scene it was out at Potawatomi on Sunday for the big game. My goodness, it was packed to the gills. People were excited. It was such a vibe. I've never seen it like that, and I can only imagine it will continue to grow as the Potawatomi sports book continues to thrive. Bet above the rest only at Potawatomi.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy are back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED, because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds, through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at Hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs, with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED. But Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Steinhaffel's President's Day sale is happening now. Find great deals on amazing bonus buys throughout the entire store. Then take an extra $100 off every $17.99 you spend. Plus, get a $100 MasterCard for every $17.99 you spend. See store for details. Or make your new room more affordable with Steinhaffel's 36-month 0% financing. Get in today because these deals won't last long. Shop in-store or online at steinhaffels.com.
The pulse of the Milwaukee Bucks, straight from a Bucks legend.
Can't get it off. Marcus Johnson will, though. Can't leave him alone for a 12.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson on Bucks Plus. Marcus and his son Chris offer a weekly beat on Bucks basketball. Get your questions answered and hear from the biggest names in basketball. Find Here District with Marcus Johnson at bucks.com/plus on the Bucks app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Did you hear that? That's the sound of me earning rewards on all of the purchases I make with Educators Credit Union's debit card. Whether I'm buying groceries, putting gas in my car, or knocking down pins at the bowling alley, I can earn major rewards points. I can redeem my points for cash back, gift cards, concert tickets, travel experiences, and a whole lot more. Join Educators Credit Union and start earning today at ECU.com. Insured by NCUA. Membership eligibility required.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
You can just save yourself so much time by going, okay, we like this guy, this guy, this guy. Let's take a look at all the different things he did at the combine. I just hit my phone, and now my hand is just tingling.
No,
what is with you two today? Jesus. Do you know how to function?
I just like...
On 94.5 ESPN. Jen, Gabe, and Chewy continues next on 94.5 ESPN.
Ryan from McGuanago says, I blame Goody and the scouting team. We don't know that the players are underperforming. They might be overvalued. They may only be as good as we have seen. Dumpy in West Bend says, you got to blame the coaches if they can't tell who the bums are and ship them out in the same way. If the radio show hosts aren't any good, it's always Ashy's fault. Chewy, you subscribe to that as well,
Chewy's
right?
still here.
Oh, yes.
It's always
Totally.
Ashy's fault. No matter what. If I say a curse word on the radio, Ashy's fault.
And what did we do with him? We got rid of him.
Sent him packing.
Yeah.
What is he?
We brought in
He's
Joshy.
failing up?
Yeah, he climbed the corporate ladder.
Yeah, that's still getting rid of him, though.
That's also not uncommon in professional world. Just look around.
It could. Very good point.
Not saying that of Ashton specifically, but
It's kind of felt like you were, and now
It
you're
is.
backtrack.
We've all
backpedaling.
seen the person climb the ladder, and everyone look around and go, "Why are they there?" Not saying that about Ashton. To be clear,
It kind of felt like you are. Kind of feels like it.
We put it on the Jen, Gabe, and Chewy Twitter poll. Go ahead and weigh in on that. Steve says the majority of the blame has to go to Goody. He constantly reaches with these picks looking for some diamond in the rough when most times he has football players staring him right in the face. Cooper DeJean is an example. Also TJ Watt. That should be a rule. Trust the draft board. If there's a football player there, take him. I don't care what the position is.
Okay, so TJ Watt, that's not Goody. That goes back to Ted.
Yeah.
So, we can let that one go. Look, Cooper DeJean was pretty good this year, but also didn't have an interception to the Super Bowl. Like, he was good. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I think he'd look good in the Packers uniform. I'm also not writing off Jordan Morgan. Like, because the other thing that you should have learned from the Packers' loss in the playoff game and then what happened to the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl, you need a good offensive line to protect your quarterback. Like, Jordan Morgan was one of these 6 guys that the Packers trusted until he got hurt. He is coming off of a rookie deal. Like, he very well could be worth that first-round pick. So I am not writing off Jordan Morgan and saying that was a mistake, taking him instead of Cooper DeJean at this point.
Yeah, but if you could do it right now, who would you take?
Yeah, but I'll wait, until they're done with their deals.
I would take Jordan Morgan plus Evan Williams, who played just as good, if not better.
I'm taking
that's the way I would do it.
All day long, and twice on Tuesdays.
I mean, that's fine.
Why Tuesdays?
It's not Mondays.
Feel that was a shot at me.
Saw that yesterday. I love that Chewy's like, you know why I'm not sharp? I got these rocks. Got to move these rocks. In fact, I want to hear about the rocks after this on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Stick around.
The rocks are cooking.
More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
Continued problems on westbound 94, right about at 20th Street. We have an accident that's blocking the right lane. They've got a tow truck out there, so they're working on it, backing up things through the Marquette in all directions. Southbound 43 is very heavy from Silver Spring all the way down to about Fond du Lac Avenue, where there is another accident blocking the right lane. We've also got one more on 94 eastbound at about 20th Street. That one's off on the right shoulder. Delays coming in from 92nd Street all the way to that point. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Today, morning flurries, mostly cloudy. Some afternoon sunshine later on, a high of 22. Tonight, increasing clouds, a low of 17. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
There are some things you wouldn't mind being stuck with, like a large unexpected inheritance. An always on the verge of death phone that has to be plugged in just right so it charges is not one of those things. Switch to Verizon and we'll pay off your old phone. Up to $800 via prepaid MasterCard so you can get a new one. Just trade in any phone from our top brands on any unlimited plan. With new line on My Plan. Additional terms apply for trade-in and pay off your phone offer. See Verizon.com for details.
When you switch and save with Progressive, you could use that money towards scoring courtside seats for your favorite team. Progressive cannot guarantee that you can score courtside seats. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds on average, but courtside seats can be astronomical. Maybe if your team plays in a smaller market, you could swing it. Even still, it's unlikely. Maybe fourth row, which are still incredible seats that you'll enjoy greatly. Savings possible. Courtside, long shot. Switch and see if you could save at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance and Affiliates. Not available in all states. Progressive cannot guarantee that someone really tall will not sit in front of you at the game, rendering your excellent seats just okay.
Hey, this is Homer. You're listening to the home of Marquette basketball. 94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station. Showtime. The right way to start your day. This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
And Dario looks over at me and says, "Oh my gosh, I know why you're sneezing so much." He says, "You're sneezing through your mouth. You have to sneeze through your nose."
Love meeting new people. You know, that's how you really do learn about life.
God bless you.
Thank you.
I wasn't going to say anything, but then I could see that he wasn't going to open his mouth.
I said, "What?"
Excuse me?
He said, "Everybody knows that sneezes are because something is tickling the hairs in your nose. And the only way to stop sneezing is to expel what is in your nose. And the only way to do that is to sneeze through your nose."
I said, God bless you. Is that so wrong?
The question is, did you allow a space for the husband to come in with his God bless you? Because as the husband, he has the right of first refusal.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios at the Avenue with Gabe Neitzel and Mark Chamora. Here's Jen Latta.
Running her mouth, she wants to ride it, she's trying to hide it. I'm cool as ever, she's too excited. Her man look like he wanna fight, he ain't doing nothing but running his mouth. Talk about it, we all about it. They making plans, we sit and count our chairs stacked just like.
So, Chew, you had a rock incident yesterday. You were all messed up about it in the show. You were all worried. It was hanging over your head. How did the rock situation shake out?
It's horrible. It's not fun. It's a grind. Although I did have, this is funny, someone from down here called the station and offered to help me.
Really?
Yeah, listen to this. This is wonderful.
I just called about 10 minutes ago. My name is Bruno Giacomantonio, and I'm listening to Glenn, Gabe, Jen, and Chimera. And Chimera was just talking about how he needed to spread some stone after he got off the air at 9 o'clock, and how he was getting anxiety about doing it. And I just wanted to let him know that I would be more than happy to do it for him, because I do live in the same area that he lives in. And my number is...
Good job, Chew.
Not only...
Wait, Josh, did you do that? Josh, you
Yes.
hold on.
Yes. Not only to help, but to do it. And I appreciate Bruno. Bruno, you're the best. Thanks. But you know why I won't let him do it or let anyone help me?
Why?
Because there's
'Cause you
no
won't
way
get
in
credit from your
hell
wife.
if someone asked me to do it, I would do it. That's how miserable. I mean, I would work tobacco again, pick cucumbers. It's just, it's not fun. Now I just figured out, because my calculations were wrong, I got to order another 4 yards of it.
Shocking.
Wait, I got so many questions. What exactly are you doing with this rock? Aren't you just moving it from one spot to another?
Yeah, so they dump it in the driveway. Hey, it's because my wife now she doesn't like shells. All right, shells are gone. So these are pretty big rocks, not huge, but you can only put so much of them in a wheelbarrow because they're so damn heavy.
Okay.
So it's twice the workload. So I cut the pile in half yesterday. I'm going to try and do that all today, but now I got to order another pile of them, which is just miserable. So just going to grind it out, keep my head down.
Have we done
Can I ask you a question, Jen?
Yep.
Valentine's Day is Friday.
Oh, boy.
Right?
Yep.
Angie is in L.A. all week.
Mm-hmm.
She gets back Friday. Is that enough of a Valentine's present?
Were you doing the rocks?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I'd get some flowers.
Yeah, like, come on, bud.
Just a little bit of
Yeah.
effort.
This would be, in my mind, the best Valentine's present I could ever get.
It's important.
The labor that
but
went wrong
this
with
is just more about timing. Like, if this was in the middle of June, you can be like, oh, well, for Valentine's Day, I did this. Like, it just happened to be timing. I think you just got to get her a little bit of flowers, bud. Maybe
What
a nice
if I got
dinner.
Bo and just put them on the rocks?
Part of me thinks
No?
also that you're enjoying this rock thing because you haven't been able to work out, and this kind of is, A, taking up time in your day that working out used to, and B, now you're getting a little bit of that workout that you've missed.
No. He enjoys this because he gets to bitch and moan. That's why.
You're right.
That's why he enjoys it.
Because I have the MRI. The MRI is on Friday, so that, I mean, this
Chewy
is
is
like
bum elbow.
badge of honor stuff here. This is like,
I got to be honest with you. I am struggling with your revelation that the wheelbarrow is heavy. Do you know what I mean? Like, you to Michu have always been like this Herculean guy who can handle all of the tasks. So you telling us that, like, you can only fill the wheelbarrow so much with the rock because it's heavy rock and you have to,
Well,
like, I'm struggling
wheelbarrow
with
will-
this information.
Well, Jen, Achilles
But
had
it's
his
not
heel.
me.
Chewy's got an elbow.
it's the wheelbarrow will break. I'm not worried about that.
Oh, it's not
It's just
you.
it can only handle so much weight. But let's keep in mind, I'm going to be 56 in a handful of days here.
It is coming right up.
56? Are you crapping me? What happened? 56.
Yeah.
That's kind of depressing, but I'm dealing with it.
Not well.
It's only depressing because
no.
you're injured.
I think that's it.
If you were like peak health, if you were like you were a year ago, you're working out regularly,
Yeah.
you're eating well, you're drinking the trough of water every morning.
But here's a concern, and this is where my consistency comes into play, because that's, if there's one thing, I am consistent. Okay?
If anything.
Because I ripped Josh Myers for being carted off the field the last playoff game only to find out there was nothing wrong with him. My elbow's feeling pretty good. So if I go through with the MRI, which is probably what, $1,100?
Yeah. And it turns out fine?
But it's not fine. You tried to bench last week, and you said that you could do only a fraction of the weight, and you could only do it for a certain amount of reps, and you said that, so it's not fine. It might be rested, but if you tried to bench today, I'm guessing, and I'm not wishing this on you, but I'm guessing you would still have trouble with the weight.
I think it might be all right. If I come home and my doc says they can't find anything wrong with the elbow, someone's going to wig.
It's not going to be you?
You know who that someone is.
Yeah, it's not going to be you.
Yeah.
So if there's nothing wrong in the MRI, you're worried you're going to have to come on the air Monday and issue apologies?
Either that or get another job to pay for the $1,100. Because that is not going to go over well.
Fair enough. So this has really been like a eye-opening experience for you, huh? This bursa sac, this elbow injury. I mean, you have gone through, it feels like all of the stages of grief.
Yeah.
Certainly denial. There have been several instances of denial.
Yes.
I mean,
because my kids, to a child, says grow up. You're not 36 anymore. You're 56. Stop doing all that weight. You're an idiot. And they're right. They're right.
About the idiot part?
Yeah.
Yeah, not going to get a lot of argument over here.
When the elbow's finally healthy again.
Yeah.
You're going to put 315 back on that bar again eventually.
So you can do
Of course I am.
Trying to make a point.
Yes. And you know what? The bursa sac will blow again.
All right. I just want to know that just wanted to make sure everybody was on the same page. Okay.
I can't believe that somebody called you and offered to help you move the rock, and you just flat out denied it. Flat out said, no, I'm good.
No. Because Angry offered, too. I would never, if someone said, hey, can you help me spread rock here? I'd look at the pile and go,
I don't know. So I'm working through this from a philosophical standpoint. Like, if someone offers to help and you genuinely believe that it's not an empty gesture and the job is hard, the job is too big for you, just say yes.
No.
Just say yes. You cut the work time in a third, especially if you got both of the guys over there, and you have a little dude's day moving rock.
It's miserable. No. It's miserable. It is.
But misery loves company.
And they volunteered.
Yeah, they're good friends.
You'd rather just live in that misery by yourself?
Is it a sympathy thing, Joshy?
I think they're just being friendly and trying to help you out.
No.
Since you've complained about it now for a week straight.
No, sympathy from my wife. She'd be like, oh, that wasn't that big a deal. You had help. What the hell?
Yeah,
well,
I think that's a big part of it. Well, that's a big part of it. If he'd gotten the help, he's not getting full credit from his wife.
Sure, but this is a work smarter, not harder thing.
Well, but he's also trying to double dip this thing as his Valentine's present, and there's no way that can fly if he got help.
Which I think that's Bush. I really do. I mean, come on. The thing's going to cost.
I thought you were just going to go over to Dean the dancing machine and get her something for Valentine's Day. Or was that a different holiday?
That was a different holiday. But, okay, here's the deal. In the end, the rocks alone are going to cost $2,400. If I was to have someone spread it, it's $5,000. So I get the $2,400 credit to use at my own discretion, if you get my drift.
Well, to use on her
Gabe,
Valentine's
is that fair?
Day. To use on her Valentine's Day
You
presents.
got a weird transactional thing happening here. I'm not sure of the exchange rate. I'm not sure how this is all shaking out. Like, I still think you would have gotten credit for the task being done if you had taken up those dudes on their offer to help. You still get credit for it. And you might have even gotten more credit because it's like, you didn't hurt yourself in the process.
No.
Joshy, if somebody offers to help you with a task that is like this, too much, too big, annoying, hard, frustrating, all of the things, are you saying yes or are you saying no?
Every time. Every single time.
Josh, here's the deal, okay? The Angries are one of our best friends down here.
The Angries?
She would give Angry more credit than I would get.
See, I think you just got to take that one on the chin. Is it going to make your life easier? Is it going to make you less in pain and less stressed and anxiety ridden? Then you just take it, man.
Suck it up.
Physically, it's worse for him. Mentally, it's better if he does it himself.
I don't feel like it because you've wrapped your brain in pretzels right now, trying to justify ways.
Well, this is the reverse rub off of Gabe. How I rub off on him. Now I'm rubbing off his stubbornness.
Tell me more. Tell me more about
Right?
how the two of you.
No,
we get together and
this is just pure stubbornness.
I love it, which is why I'm got your back here, pal.
Josh has got his hand over the dump button and is
waiting.
hovering like a no whammies over there. Okay, Gabe, same question to you.
Yes.
You got a task, you got a job. You got two buddies who have offered to help you do it. It'll cut the whole total time by 3.
Sure.
Yes or no?
Depends. Did one of the buddies tell me I can't do it by myself? Because I'm told I can't do it by myself, then I'm doing it by myself.
You guys are so messed up.
I have none of that. If you want to hang out, do this with me.
That's the thing.
Be my guest.
Talk about the old double dip. You also get a hangout out of the deal.
Put on some nice tunes, some Steely Dan, crack a couple brewskis.
Exactly. Are you reeling in years? You could even say wheeling to go with the wheelbarrow. I don't know. Like, change it up. Karaoke your way through this thing. I don't know. You had two people offer to help you do it. You said no to both of them, and you're still over here crabbing about having to do it.
I'm good. It'll be done by Friday.
Feels like a prison of your own making is what it feels like.
I got your back, Chew. I believe in you.
Now, I do have a question. I'm not trying to question how difficult it is to move rocks. They are heavy. That is the nature of being a rock. If you actually put effort into this, instead of taking breaks and wandering off for lunch, could it be done by, like, tomorrow?
No way.
Or are you milking it?
No way. No.
There's zero milk going on?
56, I had to wear 2 shirts because the first one was just, I could wring out.
Go tarps off.
And then the other one, it's just, I mean, if I had a beer, I'd be cramped up and I'd fall in the channel.
I promise you would not cramp up. You drink a gallon and a half before 9 a.m.
Yeah, but his hamstring keeps cramping up on him, too.
Eat a damn banana.
Nah, bananas are gross.
Yeah, so are hamstring pulls or hamstring cramps.
Everything's got an impediment.
It'll be done. It'll be done.
Yeah, he's got a deadline. He's going to meet the deadline. I don't know what everybody's worried about, Chew.
Yeah. Gabe has faith.
We're not worried. I mean, it's his decision making that has us questioning, right? It's the somebody came to you and said, I'm happy to help. And then another buddy said, hey, you want help with that? I'm happy to do it. And you were like, no, this job is too awful. I couldn't possibly force it upon you, foist it upon you. And
What
they're
a
like,
selfless individual.
we're volunteering. He's like, no, I must do it on my own.
Everybody has their challenges and their crosses to bear. This is Chewy's. He doesn't want to bring that upon anybody else. I don't know what's so hard to understand.
Put it on the Jen, Gabe, and Chewy Twitter poll. If you had a job, a big job, something that was tough to do, physically demanding, and you had 2 buddies offer to help you do it, would you take them up on it, yes or no? I feel like this is going to be a 90, but maybe there are a bunch of stubborn people like you out there. The reason I had off in my head is because someone wrote it on the Carbless talking text line. Oh, Ron and the key. He said it's a rub off. You and Chewy are having a rub off.
Have you ever heard the phrase dumb Pollock? Here I am.
Wait, and yesterday there was a Polish thing too. Didn't you talk about being a ski?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that? I have to remember. Maybe it'll show up on.
Ski. Because it was scoopage, and he was
Oh,
going scoop ski.
Now it can't show up on.
Do you think mentioning it now is going to help him remember on Friday?
Jared says, as much as I don't want to admit it, I'm in Chewy's camp. I hate asking for and getting help. But for me, the inconvenience factor of others plays a bigger part. I much rather do it myself. Oh, crap. I just realized.
Uh-oh.
I just realized.
You did the same thing.
This morning.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. By not asking Chase to drive me to work, I didn't want to inconvenience him or Dario, so I took the Uber. Oh man, go to break.
Calls coming from inside the house.
I think
Boom roasted.
I think there is a level here that we need to factor in with Chewy of not asking for or receiving help is trying to block him out from being asked to help someone else. And I think that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
If I don't ask for help, that this person will then never ask me for help.
I don't want to owe you.
Right.
So awesome.
You know what? Say no more.
Laughter.
The chuckle tells all.
Gabe, they're getting there with my brain. They are getting, it's a little slower, but they're getting there.
They're figuring it out.
Yeah.
We got to take a break on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. We roll on right after this. We have power rankings coming up next. Some legit, actual, real power rankings next.
We'll see about that. But this is for real. This is legit. Going on right now. BOGO. Buy one, get one on your Screamin' Sicilian favorites. And you want to hurry while this lasts through February 18th at your local Pick and Save and Metro Market stores. Taste what all the Screamin' is about. Think of all the great Screamin' Sicilian flavors that exist with all the different crusts. Not only do they have the regular, they've got thin and crispy, they've got tavern style, they've got Detroit style, stuffed crust pizza. So many different flavors, so many different tastes, and it's right now. Buy one, get one on your Screamin' Sicilian favorites at Pick and Save and Metro Market stores. Take advantage now through February 18th. Palermo's flavor is our family's business.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy are back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
Westbound 94, that earlier accident at 20th Street has been cleared out of the way. But on eastbound, we do still have delays from the Zoo interchange all the way to about 35th Street. So that's just your general delays there. We also have a broken down vehicle westbound 94 just west of the county line. That is off on the left shoulder, but it's enough to make for some delays back to Highway 100. Southbound on 43, backing up from Silver Spring, pretty much down to about Locust, back on the brakes from just south of North Avenue down past Fond du Lac Avenue, where there is an accident there as well. They're saying the right lane is blocked. Tow trucks on the scene to try and help out with that. And the northbound side of 4394 are backed up from before the Mitchell interchange all the way around the Plainfield curve up to Lincoln. Traffic is brought to you by the Neal Group. They know how to minimize your taxes to keep more money in your pocket. Visit nealgroup.net to learn more. That's nealgroup.net. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today. Morning flurries, mostly cloudy skies. Some afternoon sunshine popping in with a high of 22. Tonight, increasing clouds, a low of 17. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazagon, 94.5 ESPN.
Hey guys, Josh DiMaggio here. Don't be like me and wait till the last minute. Valentine's Day is almost here. Impress that special someone with a handcrafted bouquet from Flowers for Dreams. Order a bouquet online at flowersfordreams.com or visit their Walker's Point location. Use code ESPN at checkout for 15% off your bouquet, or this year, try something new with tickets to their date night open studio workshop on Friday, February 14th. Every Valentine's bouquet benefits an amazing local Milwaukee charity. That's flowersfordreams.com, code ESPN.
Low carbonation, high flavor. A match made in cocktail heaven from Carbless handcrafted cocktails. Hey, it's ESPN Wisconsin's Brad Nortman. 0 sugar, 0 carbs, 0 gluten, and just 100 calories. Carbless is made right here in the great state of Wisconsin and satisfies that cocktail that you've been craving. Their refreshing fruit flavors like lime and black raspberry and classic cocktail flavors like margarita and Moscow Mule are go-tos in the Nortman estate. And now, Carbless will be introducing new flavors. I can't wait to try them. Make sure you pick up Carbless on your next grocery trip. Carbless. Less is more.
With a local Milwaukee team, Fifth Third Bank knows what success looks like. They've been serving businesses and individuals in the area for nearly 15 years, including a long-standing commitment to the healthcare industry. From expansion to treasury management, Fifth Third offers a full suite of financial services and solutions across the healthcare spectrum to meet the complex moments you're navigating. Fifth Third Bank, National Association. Custom solutions built around your goals. Member FDIC.
This is Kevin Moret from Mentality. Men, you're being robbed of your potential. Research shows a shocking 1% annual decline in testosterone levels. That's why building muscle feels impossible and your confidence is at an all-time low. But here's the truth. You're not alone in this uphill battle. Mentality's physician-directed, FDA-approved treatment doesn't just level the playing field, it restores your body's powerful balance. Our patients experience a documented 30% increase in their testosterone levels. Stop struggling and turn this around. Defy the odds and reclaim your masculine edge at mentalityhealth.com/radio. Radio.
The new year is here, and we all know it's the perfect time to hit the reset button. Let's be real, guys. Feeling confident in how you look and feel isn't just for women. That's where Quintessa Aesthetic Center comes in. From now through March 31st, Quintessa is offering exclusive packages to help you start 2025 as a more confident you. Whether it's weight loss plans or even IV therapy, Quintessa has personalized options backed by medical experts to help you look and feel your absolute best. Visit myquintessa.com to learn more. Make 2025 the year you feel confident inside and out.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Come on, guys. Let's think about this. Could you do 50 straight days of burgers?
That was very condescending. I just
No,
want to be
no,
clear.
that's not.
Let's put our heads together.
Again, I have children. I know condescending when I hear it.
Come on,
On 94.5 ESPN.
Valentine's idea for Chewy from Ron and the Key. Hand her a greeting card as you show off the new landscaping that says, Happy V-Day. Let's get you between a rock and a hard place. Does your wife like cheesy jokes? Puns, if you will?
That's cheesy.
Let's get to power rankings.
It's Chewy's favorite segment of the week.
Hey, big guy, you catch the game?
It's Power Rankings time on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
You catch the game last night?
Can I say yes to you?
What will the big guy have in store for us today?
See the game last night?
Which game?
Any of them.
All right, we do it every year. Way too early power rankings. Back to normal rules. So with that, give me 10.
Crud, I wasn't ready. I'm looking. Hold on. I know, shocking. Way too early power rankings. Give me 10.
This is, just to be clear, this is for 2025, because I know every once in a while they do like power rankings of how they might look in 3 years.
Nope.
So this is just way too early for 2025.
2025.
How about the Chargers?
I said Vikings at 10.
Gabe's right. Minnesota
Whoa.
Vikings are at 10.
I guess the quarterback situation with Minnesota makes them very...
Who knows what that's going to look like?
I didn't realize they had a lot of cap space too, though.
They do, but that could get, if they decide to sign Sam Darnold, a lot of that could get gobbled up very quickly.
Before we move on, let me ask you, Chew, very quickly, what would you do with the quarterback situation if you were the Vikings? What puts you in the best position to succeed?
I would move on just because it's the Russell Wilson effect when Russell was young. Go with a quarterback who's young for a handful of years, don't have to pay him, build your roster. I mean, I guess their window's open. Is it? I mean,
it shuts a little bit. It's still open depending upon how good J.J. McCarthy is. But they seem to be very high on J.J. before the knee injury. I'm with Chew. Franchise and trade him.
I would not sign Darnold.
Okay.
9.
Chargers.
I'll agree with Jen. I'll go Chargers at 9.
The Cincinnati Bengals are at 9. They also have a lot of cap space.
I had them higher in the AFC.
They can. They have enough money, I think, to sign Chase and keep.
They got to pick one of the wide receivers.
Happy.
Yeah, they got to keep one of the wide receivers. They got to give Hendrickson. Yeah, they're going to be a mess. Yeah, they're going to be a mess.
When's the Joe Burrow industrial complex going to crumble?
I don't know, man.
I think he's still really good.
Yeah, I do too.
Try winning.
I'm not saying
the defense
they're top dogs.
Doo-doo.
Yeah.
Rodgers' defense was doo-doo for years.
Yep. Playoffs.
Good.
All the time.
Not that.
8.
Chargers. If the Chargers aren't here, then they're not in the top 10.
I don't think they're in the top 10 if they're... I'll go San Francisco.
Jen, you're on the board. Los Angeles Chargers are 8. They need help. They need some help.
Oh, yeah.
I like them. I like Harbaugh. Is there a window open?
It's tough when you're in the division as the team that goes to the AFC Championship game every year, but they've got a couple changes they need to make, and they can be more competitive.
But they're a few years away. What'd you say, quarterback?
I said they've got a young quarterback, new improving head coach and defense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The foundation is there.
7.
I got the Commanders at 7.
Green Bay Packers.
It's your Green Bay Packers.
I don't love it. I don't love it.
I mean, there were 7 in the NFC, so being 7 overall here.
Pretty nice.
I know, but I was hopeful that it would be higher.
They got a lot of questions to answer.
I think it.
I mean,
when I was ranking the NFC teams, I've got Eagles, Lions, Packers for next year, then Commanders. So I'm guessing they're just flip-flopped on the actual list.
I think the offseason is going to, if they sign a big guy or trade for a big guy, they immediately probably jump towards top 5. Like if they make a splash.
They got to make that move.
Yeah.
Which they have to, because the only really free agent they have is Myers. He's not going to cost, and McManus, but that's not going to cost a lot of money. So he's got to pick the right free agents or trade or whatever he's going to do. But I thought that was fair. 7.
Yeah.
6.
Gotta be Commanders then.
I'll say the Ravens.
Jen's correct. Commanders are 6, and Commanders have a boatload of money. I think they're 3rd in the league. They have double what the Packers have, $80 million to spend. So
I think they've got a few more holes, though.
Oh, they have a few more holes. But
then the Packers?
Yeah.
Well, that's why, again, I said earlier, I thought I had the Packers above the Commanders on my list.
Turns out having the better quarterback, though.
Yeah.
Shots fired.
I don't think that's that out of a take.
Do you not worry that Jaden Daniels has a sophomore slump?
No.
Takes a step back? A little regression?
No.
I think he gets better.
Yeah.
Well, good for him.
5.
I'll go Baltimore here.
I've got Ravens.
Ravens are 5.
Okay.
They choke.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. I don't think
isn't
you're
it
getting
time to win a Super Bowl with all that talent?
It's long overdue, I would argue.
Yeah, I don't think you're getting anybody push back.
Let me ask you a question. Does Harbaugh's rep take a hit if you keep bridesmaiding this thing?
I think it's more Lamar.
Yeah.
I think if you're winning these MVPs, be relevant in the playoffs.
There is a certain level of show up in the playoffs. You're great at the regular season.
Because he had the 2 turnovers against Buffalo this year. That's not on Harbaugh. Harbaugh's not going, hey, you know, be cool.
Give it to the other guys.
Go fumble.
But guys, think about that second half of that game. He was brilliant.
Yeah, and part of the reason that they had to dig out of the hole is because he put him there.
4.
Lions. I have the Lions.
Buffalo.
Philadelphia Freedom.
What?
Interesting.
Defending champs?
Well, they don't have a ton of money.
Yep.
I think they got 25 million, and they have some big-time free agents that are up.
Okay, but hasn't Howie earned the benefit of the doubt at this point?
Yeah, I don't think Philly's one of because they do have some free agents. I don't think it's like Kansas City where you don them right after the season. I think 4 is a little low or high or whatever you want to call it. But
you think they should have been higher? No, you think they should have been lower. Again, I'm trying to read into your brain. You think they should have been 1, 2, or 3?
I think if Detroit doesn't get beat up, Detroit has as much talent as they do.
What?
I should have emphasized the question part of the question. Is he?
Yeah. He's explaining to you where he thinks Philadelphia would land.
He's working through it on the air. Okay.
They're at 4 because why else would you be reading a February 11th power rankings for next season?
Correct.
Gotta hook people.
I said this like halfway. I said the worst thing for the Packers would be for Detroit not to win the Super Bowl this year because they're going to come back hungry as ever, and they actually have more money in free agency than Green Bay does.
Okay, well then I guess I'm going to go with Detroit for number 3 on the list.
Detroit is 3.
Yeah. You didn't even get to guess.
Nope,
sorry.
Apparently not.
I mean, what we're banking on in Detroit is they lost their 2 coordinators.
Correct. And a couple of other coaches here and there.
You would think that would ding them a little bit harder.
Yeah, well, we're going to find out.
Whoever the next offensive coordinator is going to be very important because the relationship between Ben Johnson and Jared Goff was very strong. Got Goff to play some of the best football of his career, and for that whole thing to work, Goff has to continue to play at that level.
So no more NFC teams. We're down to the final two, and I'm guessing they went Bills, Chiefs.
Yeah, Buffalo, Kansas City.
Bills, Chiefs.
You can argue the Chiefs shouldn't be one.
Yeah, Chiefs should not be one.
Of course.
They should not be one. They
Who
need some.
should? I got yourself
chokers.
Get yourself in a little
I was about
pickle.
to say, if you're not
Get
going to say
yourself in a little
Philly,
pickle here.
if you're not going to say Philly, then Kansas City is clearly one. All they do is go to the AFC Championship game every year.
I think Detroit's better than
We can crack
Kansas
that
City.
Super Bowl.
Detroit is better than Kansas City.
5 out of the 7 years they've gone to the Super Bowl with Patrick Mahomes.
No.
Look, we said at the beginning this was a way too early power rankings.
Yeah.
But do you think that we should be happy, Packers fans, with a 7? I was really again, Josh. I think you're right. You make a move, you make a splash, get a little more, get a little deeper at some of those positions.
The last time we saw this team, they lost 3 games in a row.
I know. I was there.
No, that's fair. 7's fair.
Also, 7 is firmly in the conversation of Super Bowl contender. Like that.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a slight. I think we're trying to. I'd love to be top 5.
That's what I was going to say. I don't think it's a slight either. I'm not sitting here going, oh, this is an egregious error of judgment by the people who put together the power rankings. It's more of like, I wish they were higher. But I agree with you. Until they do something to merit a higher standing, I guess I'm fine being in the conversation. You know, like Goody. He's in the conversation.
Well, he's got to be more
in the talks.
He's got to be more than in the conversation for them to move off of 7.
Can't argue with that either. We'll take a break here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Still more to come right after this.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy continues next on 94.5 ESPN.
Southbound on 43, got some backups from Silver Spring pretty much all the way down past Locust. An earlier accident at Fond du Lac Avenue has been cleared out of the way. Eastbound 94 backing up basically from 84th Street all the way to 35th. Northbound on 4394 right about at Beecher, we've got the left lane blocked with a broken down vehicle. That's slowing things down right out of the Mitchell interchange up to Beecher. Traffic is brought to you by Racine Danish Kringles, now offering a heart-shaped Kringle with pink icing in raspberry, chocolate silk, cherry, and pecan flavors. Order at Kringle.com or call 1-800-4DANISH. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Today, morning flurries, mostly cloudy, some afternoon sunshine, a high of 22. Tonight, increasing clouds, a low of 17. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga, 94.5 ESPN.
I think one of the things that patients don't realize is that when they get a joint replacement, that's not a lifetime treatment option. And they're probably, if they are a younger patient, signing up for multiple surgeries down the road.
As a physician and medical director for QC Kinetics, Dr. Caravelli's seen a pattern of trending joint pain. Prolonged medication, steroids, then surgery, possibly another surgery.
So a lot of our patients are trying to avoid or put off surgery, and this is the treatment that can help them do that.
QC Kinetics extracts your body's healing substances, concentrates them back into your aching joints to help heal and restore those areas, providing lasting relief.
Oh, I love being able to tell my patients, before we do this surgery, let's try another option. Let's see if this is right for you, because now they might not have to have surgery at all.
Call today for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think you could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text GRIT to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text GRIT to 42424. That's GRIT to 42424. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
So you mentioned Super Bowls and parties and how they don't go hand in hand, which again is an absurd comment by you two, but it's just one of many on the show.
Dumber thing that Chewy has said this morning. Super Bowls and parties don't go hand in hand, or cheddar is not a top 10 cheese.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Generally speaking, yesterday, when we were talking about the Deebo Samuel stuff and how Deebo Samuel may be available, I didn't see that Keyshawn Nixon weighed in on this. Chew, did you see that Keyshawn Nixon weighed in on Deebo Samuel?
I did not.
Hey. So there was a post on X that said Deebo Samuel is available for trade. Packers time to bring in a number one. Keyshawn Nixon responded to that saying, "Love him. We don't want him." Laughing face.
It's a correct analysis.
Yes.
Sure. But do we want Keyshawn Nixon weighing in on these sort of things on the old X? Doesn't it feel like maybe we should just stay well enough away?
I don't have a problem with it.
You don't?
No.
Well, let's hypothetical this sucker out.
Okay.
Let's just say that the Green Bay Packers saw things differently. And let's just say that Goody was like, you know what we're going to do is bring in Deebo Samuel. Well, now you got yourself a situation, Chew. Because Keyshawn Nixon is on the record as saying, we don't want you. How do you handle that?
Well, I think Goody should, number one, listen to Keyshawn because Deebo's not a one anymore. And they kind of have their Deebo and Jaden Reed. I mean, could you do that back in my day? No, it's stupid. But today, I mean, nothing shocks me. The fact that he was right, I guess I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, I don't know. It feels like Aaron Rodgers has a better chance to return to Green Bay than Deebo Samuel has of coming to Green Bay.
Is there an aspect here of after a rough week for the wide receivers on the program, he's just going to start saying, we don't need them, we don't want them?
Again, I feel like he's going to be wrong. Maybe that's hopeful. Maybe that's wishful thinking over here. But I feel like they're going to add somebody to the wide receiver core. Because it was plain as the nose on my face that they need an upgrade. They need somebody. Even if it's a veteran leadership, stretch the field in absence of Christian Watson sort of guy. They need to add somebody. So Keyshawn can't be out here just every guy that gets potentially attached to the Packers in the internet world. No, thank you. Not interested. No, thank you. I don't think that that's a sustainable thing either.
Well, but until he does it to multiple guys, I think this is a one-off.
Yeah, he also didn't do it about Devontae, which was
suspect.
Discussion being had between him and Kay Adams. I believe he was recruited by Xavier McKinney on Twitter as well. So he chose to sit out that one.
The only thing he's got to be careful on is, dude, you ain't an all-pro. You're talking like an all-pro.
I mean, Deebo's not anymore either.
No, I know, but...
having a mid-off.
Are they kind of a push? I mean, he's already anointing himself CB1. He ain't,
Well, and so that's the thing, Chew. This does not exist in a vacuum. This comment is not in and of itself all that we are reacting to because we have the prior information of Keyshawn Nixon weighing in on other things that maybe he shouldn't be saying publicly,
He
right?
said he loved the guy. It's like saying with all due respect.
Yeah.
You're
It
covered
is
afterwards.
exactly like saying
You are
with all due
completely
respect, and we all know
But-
what with all due respect means.
CYA there said the
I know,
thing.
but you know
and then
why-
said the not so flattering thing.
You know why he says things like this? And guys do? Because LaFleur's not reining him in. He should send out a group text and say, hey, shut your mouths.
It's
Okay?
not
We haven't
1995 anymore, respectively.
I don't care. It's like, you guys haven't won anything. And I'm talking this group of Green Bay Packers. You won nothing. You know? Just control your mouth. That's when I was blown away in 1992. I remember coming here. And just the arrogance here. I'm like, you guys went 4-12. You suck. Why are you acting like this? Especially the offensive linemen. They were like so worried about hazing instead of worried about winning football games. I'm like, what a crappy culture. I don't know.
It sounds like the two of them are pals, or at least that's what Keyshawn has said on his Twitter account. That Debo is his brudda, Bruddah, brudda. That may just be a joke between the guys, right? Like,
could be.
We don't want him,
Yeah.
laughy face. But again, I want to make it big picture here. Keyshawn Nixon, you may be a valuable, productive member of the defensive backs unit. Can we just wait until you get out there and see? Like, the Jair thing hasn't shaken itself out yet, so we can't really crown Keyshawn CB1. I'm not even sure, again, no disrespect, I'm not even sure he can be a CB1. Like, there's a part of me that just wants to be like, hey, Debo, just settle under the surface right now. Just like, not Debo, Keyshawn, excuse me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
As soon as I said it, my brain was like, nope, that's not correct. Am I wrong in feeling that way? Again,
No.
do what you want to do, I suppose. My preference is a lot of stuff to shake out here still with the Green Bay Packers. I know that he's probably bored, okay? It's the offseason. But there's a part of me that kind of just wants him to not. Is that a fair take, or am I being kind of...
No, it's a fair take because his position is one of the ones where everyone thinks they need an upgrade. You know? So just pump the brakes on the evaluation of other players there because you're being evaluated just as well.
Yeah,
right?
but I mean, he's sticking around. He's going to be part of that.
Oh, I'm not
quarterback
saying
room
he's
next
going
year.
anywhere, but
Yeah.
he's not. I mean, he's not Revis Island. Would you agree he's a little more than a guy?
Yeah, I mean, I think most teams would be happy to have him as like their second cornerback. Yeah.
Yeah. Which, control your mouth. What comes around
it
goes
could
around.
be a joke between
what
two
comes
pals,
around
too.
goes around.
I mean,
that's fine.
What if it's a joke between two pals?
Yeah, that's not fine. I mean, that is fine, but it's just like...
Wait, what do we...
No,
it
it's
is fine or isn't it fine?
It's just like...
Are you fine?
It's not Monday.
It's 4% better than Monday.
12 minutes away. Am I fine? No, I'm not fine. I'm 12 minutes away, okay? If you get my drift.
No, we do. You're counting down the
rocks.
moments until the show is over and you can go hang out with your rocks.
Are you just doing that in complete silence, or are you throwing in some headphones and listening to some tunes?
No, I did it in silence. If you're going to be miserable, just be miserable.
Wow, you are approaching this completely the wrong way. You had the opportunity
Right?
to have some pals help you out. You could have been chit-chatting, enjoying a little dude time. Now we ask if you have any music while you're doing the rocks. You're saying no.
Jen.
Mistakes were made is what I'm trying to say, Chew. Mistakes were made.
Jen, this is like 5 days of doing legs every day. That's what it is. Just power through it and get it done, and it sucks, and just move on.
I contend the only way you could do it worse than the way you're currently doing it is by abandoning the wheelbarrow and using your shirt to carry the loose gravel and dropping it on the ground, because you have just leaned into misery at such an unnecessary level.
Again, I still respect it, Chew. I respect it.
Am I one of those guys that's just happy when he's miserable?
Yes.
You didn't have to say it at the same flipping time, all right?
Why am I now picturing, based on what Joshy said, that scene from like The Big Lebowski where they're cleaning the bowling ball?
When Jesus is cleaning his bowling ball?
Yeah, exactly. But I'm picturing Chewy doing that with the rocks.
Jen, how are you getting home?
Uber.
Jeez, trust him that again.
What other option do I have?
Hitching? Might be more consistent.
Yeah, let me think about it. Gabe, you're not doing anything this afternoon. Why don't you run me back to Mequon? You do it for Chewy. That was not a real request, just so you know. You don't have to answer it. We'll take a break on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Wrap up the show right after this.
More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
Kevin Moret here for Mentality. Listen up, gentlemen. You're fighting an unfair battle. Studies show testosterone levels in men have plummeted by 25% in just 2 decades. That's why you're struggling with energy, muscle, and drive. But here's a game changer. Mentality's FDA-approved treatments boost testosterone by 30% on average. Imagine reclaiming the vitality your grandfathers had. Picture turning heads, dominating your career, and feeling unstoppable again. Don't settle for today's normal. Seize the day at mentalityhealth.com/radio. That's mentalityhealth.com/radio.
Ready to tackle your home improvement project this winter? Exterior Pros and Baths is here to help you score big with quality home exterior and shower upgrades. As a 5-time President's Club Award winner, Exterior Pros is not playing around. With flexible financing, it's never been easier to invest in your home without breaking the bank. Get started today and save $2,000. Visit extpros.com or call 262-800-4274. That's 262-800-4274. Trust the pros and kick off your home transformation today.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-777-1225. Are overweight or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-777-1225. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-777-1225. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-777-1225. 800-777-1225 or biglou.com.
True Chicago-style pizza is thin, crispy, and cut into squares. And thanks to Connie's Frozen Pizza, you can enjoy a true slice of the city. You'll enjoy it so much you won't even mind where it comes from. Connie's Frozen Pizzas are made from the same cornmeal crust Connie's has been serving for over 60 years. They're perfectly cheesy, perfectly saucy, and they're exactly what you crave. Get to know the true Chicago style with Connie's Frozen Pizza. Born in Chicago, loved by cheeseheads. Available in a freezer aisle near you.
Stay up to date on the Green and Gold all off season. The Green and Gold Fix podcast is brought to you by Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Luxury stay, elite play, unwind in sophisticated comfort. Win big, dine, and experience the events in Milwaukee.
Steinhoffel's President's Day sale is happening now. Find great deals on amazing bonus buys throughout the entire store. Then take an extra $100 off every $17.99 you spend. Plus, get a $100 MasterCard for every $17.99 you spend. See store for details. Or make your new room more affordable with Steinhoffel's 36-month 0% financing. Get in today because these deals won't last long. Shop in-store or online at steinhoffels.com.
Every child deserves a safe, loving, and permanent home. Help the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption find families for children who've lingered in foster care the longest. Learn more at davethomasfoundation.org.
You're listening to Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
He hates the ending of all comedies. Apparently doesn't like happy endings.
I love happy endings. Don't take it that far.
Maybe that's a vote for Groundhog Day for you.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Several folks weighing in on our ESPN Milwaukee YouTube page saying Debo and Nixon are friends. It is all a joke. And if that is true, I'm fine with it. You know what I mean? Weigh in, have a laugh. I just still don't think the Packers are going to kick the tires on Deebo Samuel. I think he's too old to be a legit target for them. But we will continue to pay attention to the free agents and to the moves and the trades and all of that stuff. Seems like a lot of these things have this March 12th. It seems like a date that I've seen pop up for a lot of these guys as far as if they're going to be moved. It feels like March 12th might be one to keep date to keep an eye on, Gabe.
That's because that's usually the third day of the new league year. So that's a lot of times when roster bonuses are due. And so like if Myles Garrett is going to get traded, they are going to trade him before that date because the Browns don't want to have to pay that because that comes out of their pocket, still counts against their cap, and then they have to trade him. So it just adds to the dead cap that a team would have to absorb in order to trade a player. So a lot of these guys that we're talking about are probably going to be available before free agency even opens because I think Devontae's going to get released. I don't think anybody's going to sign up for that contract. You know, Cooper Kupp is somebody we've thrown around. My guess is he gets released or traded before free agency opens, and it's the same thing with all the pass rushers we talk about.
We'll continue to pay attention to that. I'll check out the Twitter poll for today. Who do you blame for the Packers' deficiencies along the defensive line? Goody for drafting the wrong players. The players for not performing to expectations. Right now, 60% of people say it's the players not performing to expectations. Go ahead and weigh in on that. Moist reminding us that they did stop the run well every year, but Tim says it looks like Goody is not great at evaluating college D-line prospects. He needs to move towards using free agents to populate that position. And finally, will Jen get her $47 back for her Uber ride this morning that never ended up picking her up but charged her for the ride? This one is split. 52% of people say yes, they are optimistic in my ability to absolutely badger the Uber customer service line. 48% of people say no, it's not happening.
Quick question. What is the line for everyone on the panel when it comes to I'm going to fight this or it's not enough to bother me?
$1, Bob.
Oh, jeez. I'm $20. If it's less than $20, I'm like, I could care less. I could keep my inner peace and just move on with my day.
Yeah, around $10 probably, yeah.
Chew, what about you?
I'm not answering because of spies.
Hey,
I think you know my answer.
That is smart.
Chew,
That is just smart.
what about your wife?
Oh, $1.
There
She's
it
with
is.
you.
See?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't think anyone's going to dispute that you're going to get your money back here, at least amongst the show. It's really, what's the over-under on the amount of time it takes Jen to get her
Great
money
question.
back?
It's a great question. I got time.
Over an hour and a half.
Over an hour I would go with for sure. I got to talk to a human. I got to plead my case. I got to yell at some people. But it'll get done.
I don't know if you need to yell.
Yeah, you might have to.
All right, Wilde and Tausch is next on ESPN Milwaukee. Have a great day, everybody.
We are winding down now. Westbound 94 is clear out of the